welcome to the Soft Shift series, episode 3. If this is your first time tuning in, hi, my name is Marisa and I am so glad you're here. And in this series, I'm talking about navigating change, more specifically life's transitions and life's shifts, and in my case, moving in for the first time ever with a significant other after 6 years of living alone. I absolutely encourage you to go ahead and watch episodes 1 and 2 to give you a little context, a little backdrop about everything else that's been going on simultaneously with this move, because ciao, it's been a lot. This week, however, feels quieter, though it's definitely fuller. There are now 2 doggies in the house instead of 1, which inevitably means more movement and more responsibility, but also more warmth, more presence, more rhythm built into the day. There are lots of moving parts and there's lots of energy in the house, so we're all learning how to coexist in the same space. But I've made the conscious decision to not resist this. I want to lean in and I want the experience to teach me something. But high key, irrespective of what I do and do not want, the good Lord's going to give me that lesson regardless. I will say that during this particular transition, movement has become less about routine and more about regulation. Showing up when I can, letting my body guide the pace instead of my expectations, letting movement be responsive instead of rigid, listening for what my body actually needs that day rather than what I think I should be doing. In summary, allowing effort and rest to exist in the same rhythm, because isn't there something so grounding, so satisfying about effort being followed by comfort? Like grabbing warm drinks after a good workout with the pink sky as a gorgeous unpaid actor, might I add, or sitting down in the evening to share a yummy meal made with care. Cheers! And as a self-proclaimed recovering perfectionist, of which I know some of you will relate, something I constantly have to remind myself of is the fact that it's not about getting everything right or about doing it perfectly or following some exact blueprint of how things are supposed to look, because first of all, who even decides how things are supposed to look? Who wrote that blueprint? There are multiple ways to approach and move through change, and they are all going to look different. What I'm learning is that it's about firstly staying connected to self while things are changing, and to those loved ones around you. It's absolutely okay and almost encouraged to have those completely unserious moments where laughter is mixed in with the work, where the moments are messy, where there are half-finished plans. Just a reminder that change isn't always about being serious. If the changes are being made consciously, it's about intentionality. Sometimes it's about loosening our grip and understanding that we can't control every facet of a change. But what we can do is be open to the multitude of ways change can occur, with the understanding that things not going as we'd planned or thought they would isn't always a bad thing.
Another day off to the gymnasium with the boy, who's walking quite nicely, not gonna lie.
I keep having this recurring realization that a lot of life happens in these in-between moments. Not at the big milestones, not at the finish line, but right here while we're still trying to figure things out. This part of the week wasn't about transformation or discipline or becoming a better version of myself, all of these tasks that I place on myself. It was just about showing up as I am. Tired some days, energized on others, but still willing to participate in my own life. My thought is that we put so much pressure, too much pressure on ourselves to have clarity before we move forward, but sometimes clarity comes because we keep moving, even when things feel unfinished. And honestly, another thing I've learned lately, I've had a lot of lessons lately, is that momentum doesn't always come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from simply staying open and remembering that we don't have to do everything alone. Remembering that making space for people is important, for conversation, for shared meals that don't require productivity or progress. Because even when life feels full, connection has a special way of softening the edges. And this is coming from someone who enjoys her own company. But I've noticed leaning into connection can sometimes soften my days and lead to evenings that feel less like something I have to push through and more like this, a calm house with the doggies close by. When it comes to care, it's been showing up in simple, generous ways lately, in shared meals, in thoughtful gestures, in moments that don't ask for productivity, just presence. Sometimes that looks like being taken out for brunch, not for any special reason, but just because. Good food, warm conversation, the kind of morning that doesn't need to be rushed or documented perfectly to matter. Other times it looks like being in the bathroom, washing a dog who's still figuring things out, water everywhere, patience required, laughter in between. There's something quietly grounding about those moments, taking care of another living being, letting that be enough for the day. Meals have also felt more intentional too. I would even go as far as saying tending to my health has softened. It's less about control and more about attention, responding to what my body is asking for instead of waiting until it demands something louder. Boiling ginger, pouring tea, choosing prevention not out of fear but out of care. The kind of rituals that don't announce themselves as self-care. They're quiet, almost ordinary, but they add up in ways that feel supportive, not performative.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm just trying to film content. I don't know how we got here. Little Tyson, bless his sweetheart. Judy's over it, I'm sure.
Okay, so I just finished filming a bunch of stuff. Some brands had sent me some beauty items. Maybe you can see I've still got remnants of it on my lips. But I'm now finally going to go home and start putting all of the spackle on my walls. Some of it's been done here and in the bathroom, but now it's my turn. I've never done it before, so wish me luck. What else am I gonna do? I've actually got a couple more things to film when I get home, but my priority is packing up all of my utensils, packing up my plates and bowls, which I won't be bringing with me because actually I'll be giving those away, donating those. And rolling up my carpet. My carpet has been getting on my last nerve, my very last nerve. Every time I go home, I want to just wrap it up and dash it out the window. Can't do that. So what I will be doing is just wrapping it up. And again, I think it's probably something that can be donated or that someone will take. So I'll give it a good old vacuum. And yeah, I'm going to wash some clothes as well. What date is it today? I think it's the 20th or the 21st. I'm not sure. Let me just double check. Okay, so it's the 21st and we are 4 days out from Christmas, 10 days out from moving. So yeah, it's really getting to that kind of crunch time, especially, pardon me, in the run up to Christmas. So yeah, I've also got some things that I got delivered that I need to wrap up. And yeah, there's a few things going on. But I feel like a lot of people are experiencing, I don't want to say craziness, but there's just a lot of things going on. I think that I'm one of those people who tries not to make a last minute dash when it comes to Christmas, but that's just not happening. Also, I don't even want to get into how I'm feeling about Christmas too much because I typically spend it with my family. I always fly home during Christmas, which is a wonderful privilege I have, but this year, just with the move and everything, it just doesn't seem plausible. Today was 2 of my nephews' christening and I was really sad when I woke up this morning, but my sister called and kind of FaceTimed me whilst it was happening, so I'm happy about that, and I'm hoping for something similar to be the case at Christmas. Eddie's very sweet and has said, you know, he's a sweet fool. He said he's asked his parents to put on a British accent during Christmas, and his sister as well. So we'll see how that goes in an attempt to make me feel like I'm at home. I know I'm going to really enjoy it with his family as well, but you know, it's one of those bittersweet things. So let me just get moving, call the Uber, and get on my way home. I also have an eyelash that I would like to put on. I don't know whether you can see at the end of my right eye. I guess it looks like my left eye to you. It's still intact, but on the other side it's just kind of fallen off. I literally sleep like this, so I don't do myself any favors, but yeah, I got some eyelashes delivered, so I will be putting those on as well. I've got so many things on my agenda that I would like to do, but I've looked at the time, it's only like 11:25 or something like this, so I thought it was much later in the day because I got up quite early for a Sunday anyway. I am an early riser in general, but on the weekends I tend to just, you know, be a little bit more sluggish, but it's not even midday yet, so your girl's got time. Yeah, it's starting to snow, which is brilliant. That's really amazing. Hope it doesn't surge the Uber pricing. I do enjoy a touch of winter sun. I'm just waiting for my Uber right now, so this is a little intermission. Okay, so change of plan. That intermission was for nothing. Someone's coming to collect this chair, not the rug, but someone's coming to collect the chair. It was just sold on Facebook Marketplace, so I'm gonna be leaving in an hour. So I think what I'm gonna go and do is, I really quickly wanna run down to Dollarama and grab a little 1-2 ting. Because actually when I get home, I don't even have anything to wash the clothes with. So I'm gonna just quickly run down to Dollarama and get that, and wait for this person to come. I guess I can do some editing in the meantime. And this is the thing, the day keeps moving even when plans shift. A quick run for supplies, time carved out to edit, an Uber ride where my thoughts begin to settle in the background. Not everything goes exactly as planned, that's life, but it doesn't have to for the day to feel complete. At this point, walking into my home, aside from it looking like a hot mess, it's also starting to lose its familiar smell, which on one hand is sad, but on the other hand, that detachment is making things less emotional for me. And the reality is, letting go doesn't always have to look or feel emotional. Sometimes it looks practical. Rolling up a rug, clearing a floor, making space where something once lived. There's humor in it too. Music turned up, dancing through the effort, laughing at how much harder it is than expected. It's just a little reminder that even the heavier tasks don't have to feel heavy the whole time. There's relief in closing loops, even small ones, especially small ones. But listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I wasn't tired, because at the end of the day, my body was tired. But I will say it wasn't drained, and I didn't feel scattered or overwhelmed, just genuinely tired, because I actually ticked off all of the things on that long ass agenda I had. While the physical fatigue was there, the mental exhaustion wasn't, and that means a lot to me. And on this particular day, that's what balance looked like for me. And in general, this week reminded me that balance doesn't always come from doing less. A lot of the time it comes from doing what you can at a pace that respects your capacity. So if, like me, you're in a season where life feels full but manageable, where you're learning how to hold more without losing yourself, I hope this felt familiar and relatable. And if this was your vibe, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next soft shift.